Festival, this is LaserBolt and welcome to today's video, guys. Today we're taking a look at another class part of Outriders, which is the Pyromancer. Now the Pyromancer is a very interesting character, mostly very different from the other characters we're covering. You guys are definitely going to want to make sure you pay close attention on why this character might interest you and why might it actually change your playstyle depending on the other characters that are available within the game. So I'm excited to share with you guys what the Pyromancer has to offer and why you should definitely consider maybe making it your main. So without further ado, let's jump into the video. Now, before we do, I do want to remind you guys about our January giveaway. We're giving away one free copy of any game that you want for 2021 for any system of your choice. To enter and participate, it's super duper easy. All you got to do is click the pinned comment and be a subscriber to the channel. And that's it. You guys are automatically entered. So good luck to everybody participating. The winner will be announced on the first week of February. Let's go ahead and dive in. Welcome to the ultimate guide for the Pyromancer, guys. The Pyromancer is able to manipulate explosive volcano energy and also devastating walls of flame. It's pretty much, guys, a wrecking volcano machine. It brings the flame, it brings the heat, it brings the fire. Yes, guys, because the Pyromancer is all about creating a bunch of fire and make people burn, baby, burn. That is the Pyromancer's main role. I want to go ahead and reference a little bit to Destiny because I know a lot of people who are probably going to be playing this game or going to give it a look are going to be coming from playing Destiny. And the best way I could kind of give you guys a reference to what this character might play like, I'm going to say this is mostly your Warlock class that you're going to be going to. And as you guys see the powers that it has, the abilities, you're going to make the connection of what I'm going with. So what is the main key component of this particular character? Of course, his main focal point is being able to do a lot of crowd control and having a lot of AoE effects. So that's going to be area of effect, allowing you to do a lot of damage, not only to the enemies who you're targeting, but also the enemies surrounding them. This is going to be very good character for mid-range because unfortunately he does not move very fast. He's not like super duper quick. He's not a very fast character. He does lack a little bit of mobility, but he makes up with it with his powers and his abilities. Now, he does focus on three primary core aspects. Number one is explosive. Number two is immobilize, which makes the enemy kind of freeze in place. And also ignite, which is going to be primarily focusing on the burn effect that you're able to apply to the enemy. Now, he does come with a melee, just like every other character. But the cool thing about his melee is that he does deal fire damage at melee when he melees someone. So you guys see the reference here with the Warlock. And he does have, he's able to do the damage, and it also outputs the damage to anybody that's beside them. In addition to that, he will be able to have healing aspects like any other character, but his healing aspects is kind of a little bit tricky, and that's why I probably wouldn't consider this character for if you're going to be starting out the game first. I would recommend you guys starting with a different character because this one's going to be a little bit tricky, because the only way you're able to get your health back is by actually tagging enemies. The Pyromancer is only able to recover his health when enemies are marked by his abilities and then doing the damage. So you're going to first need to mark the enemy, shoot him and kill him, and then you're going to be able to get your health back. So you won't be able to get your health back any other way. As you guys know, this game does not have health potions or anything like that in that sense, but he is able to get his health back as soon as he marks the enemy and does damage or kills the enemy. He will be able to generate his health back. So that's pretty much the fundamentals when it comes to the Pyromancer. Now let's take a look at his powers and talk about which ones are probably going to be pretty OP and which ones you guys should definitely consider. We're going to get started with the first one called Heat Wave. Now, Heat Wave is a wave that deals damage and inflicts burns to enemies in front of you. So basically, when you summon the Heat Wave with the flames, right, that come from the ground, it's going to apply not only is it going to do damage, but it's also going to apply burn. And burn is going to be the fundamental portion of his ability because it's going to do damage over time. The next ability we have is called Feed the Flames. This is going to allow you to select and pull an enemy towards you. So it's like kind of like Scorpion, like get over here. And when you guys pull the person towards you or the enemy towards you, it's going to deal damage, but it's also going to drain the health and inflict ash. Now, we are going to talk a little bit about what exactly ash does. And this one might be really OP and a very good one to do in case you're having a tough situation. Maybe you're in cover, need to get your health back. You can just get over here and bring someone towards you guys and get your health back this way. Next one we have is called Thermal Bomb. What this is going to allow you to do is going to allow you to select an enemy to inflict burn once again, and it's going to knock them back. If the enemy dies while you have inflicted the burn status effect, they will explode and deal damage to a large radius of enemies. So, which is actually really cool, and one that I feel a lot of people are going to want to make sure you combo this one, because you're going to want to make sure you kill the enemy, and when it blows up, it inflicts damage to a nice large radius. So it's going to be very good for crowd control. It's going to be very good for like a finishing move, and allow you to not only kind of maybe freeze the enemy, which we'll talk a little bit about an ability that's going to allow you to do that, apply this effect, and blow everybody that's around them. So really, really crazy and really OP. The next one we have is called Overheat. This is going to deal a little bit of damage and knock the enemy back in a large radius. Additional damage dealt to the enemies will inflict burn to them and also do a status condition to consume them. So this is actually pretty crazy because it's going to allow you guys to do, once again, crowd control. It is very important because once enemies are going to start rushing you, you could definitely use Overheat to not only get away, because it's going to push the enemy back, but it's also going to allow you to do that within a very large radius and also apply that damage, and maybe combo that with a different ability to like Heat Wave to actually apply even more damage and kill the enemies. The next one we have is called Volcanic Rounds. Now this is one that I definitely want to test out, but this is going to allow you to do, it's going to allow you to fill a weapon with magazine bullets that have volcanic rounds. Now these rounds in particular are going to allow you to ignite the air around the enemy and inflict burn onto them. So this is actually pretty crazy because this is like having like little flamethrower bullets going out at the individual. Really crazy, and I can't wait to actually test this one out. The next one we have is called Ash Blast. Now this is going to be very important you pay attention to this because there are other powers that apply Ash, and I'm going to explain what Ash actually does. Ash creates an anomaly blast to inflict Ash onto all enemies within the large radius around them. Now the cool thing about Ash is that you're able to do this effect, and what this effect technically does, it pretty much freezes the enemy in place, allowing you to mitigate damage while they're frozen. Really crazy, really OP. It just puts them in a very bad situation. And this is definitely one you want to, I think a lot of people are going to roll with this one because it's going to be very perfect to actually combo this one with other powers and give you that nice, option where if you're in the heat of a battle and you want to freeze someone, you're able to freeze multiple enemies at once and maybe retreat, take cover. But Ash is actually pretty OP within this character. The next one we have is called Phaser Beam. Now, Phaser Beam fires an energy beam that deals damage that benefits from 125% of status power, inflicting burn and causes interrupt. Now, this is actually pretty crazy because I believe this is going to be very fundamental, especially when you're fighting a boss. Maybe you need to do a lot of damage, to that particular boss. And this is actually pretty cool because not only are you going to be able to output that 125 damage, but it's also going to cancel out and interrupt his ability that he might be performing on you. So this is definitely one that we're going to want to test out on how powerful and potent this might be. Now the last one we have is called Eruption. Eruption is going to create a volcano eruption beneath the selected enemy, and it's going to deal damage to them and all enemies within a small radius around the target. It just pretty much like brings out flames from the ground, and it's going to consume the enemies around them and also inflict damage not only to one of the particular enemies you're aiming it at, but also enemies around you. So think about it this way. If you combo this with Ash and you put the Eruption, bring out that fire from the enemies that are already frozen, it's just the combos are pretty crazy in this game, and synergizing them are going to be pretty OP. All right, so now we know how the powers work. Let's talk about the skill tree, guys, because the skill tree is going to be pretty predominant, and it's going to have you kind of selecting a different playstyle for each nod. So the skill tree is broken down in 3 nods. We have Ashbreaker, Firestorm, and Tempest. Ashbreaker primarily is going to be focusing on damage that you do and inflict to enemies that are around that have been marked by your power. In addition to that, it's going to give you a little bit of a bonus to your anomaly power. So whatever anomaly power that you have, which in our case would probably be burn, it's going to give us a little bit more boost to that power. The next one is Firestorm. Now, Firestorm is actually pretty good because this is where you're going to be getting a lot of your damage outputting from that. And it's going to give you, it's going to allow you to multiply the damage you do that from your powers. So for example, when we use Heat Wave, when we use Thermal Bomb, and we want to increase the power for those particular powers, we're going to want to make sure we focus primarily on Firestorm to actually output the most damage from the powers we're using, especially if you're using the Phaser Beam to kill bosses. This might be a good nod to actually invest in. The last nod we have is called Tempest, and this is where you're going to be able to kind of make your character a little bit more tanky, and where you're going to get that Warlock effect. Because what this is going to allow you to do, it's going to allow you to get a lot of health from kills and also get more health from other options. In addition to that, it's going to reduce the damage you intake, and it's going to give you an option if you progress to the nod to get self revive. So very similar to the Warlock, if you die, you're going to be able to come back from heaven and go down. How you like me now? So later, a lot of really crazy aspects of this, nods and different skill sets that you're able to put within the game, in combination with the powers and combination with the mods within the weapons and the armor, will make this character very crazy and very playable. But we covered a couple of other characters as well. So if you haven't checked out those videos and you haven't made up your mind, make sure you guys check out the Trickster. We also have the Devastator, and we're going to have a final conclusion, which is a Technomancer that we're going to be completing very shortly. But let me know what you guys think about the Pyromancer. You guys consider picking him up? If you are, what are the things that you think are going to be really OP? And I did forget to mention weapons that are going to be very good for this character are definitely going to be ARs, scout rifles, anything that gives you that mid-range, or even a sniper might be pretty good for this one, because you could definitely use the ash to freeze enemies and compensate with that snipe. But there you guys have it. This is our breakdown of the Pyromancer. I hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, do me a huge favor, guys. Drop a comment, drop a like, but most importantly, subscribe to the channel so you guys won't miss when the Outrider videos go live. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later.